me just ask you about this story that is in the Fairfax papers today, just to get your reaction to it. Now, the front page of it is talking about problems with the Prime Minister not approving any more spending through the Clean Energy Finance Corporation on wind power, and apparently the Environment Minister Greg Hunt is upset because he wasn't consulted. What's your view, I suppose, on the broader issue, if I can, about this idea that no more money will be going into that from the $10 billion fund?
Well, the stories which feature prominently in the Fairfax papers around the country today, I can assure you, is a total beat-up. I think if you look at the story, the very flimsy sources, unnamed sources, report that they think Greg is upset. The fact of the matter is that with this RET, part of the deal was, or part of the understanding reached with the crossbenchers, was that this Clean Energy Corporation would focus, as is its mandate, on new emerging technologies in the renewable energy space, and not on mature technologies like wind, which can source funds in the market, in the commercial market. And that was a clear understanding. Greg Hunt, in fact, was heavily involved, of course, as you know, with the whole make-up of that RET arrangement that was finalised and in fact supported by Labor in the end, but finalised with the crossbenchers. So Greg is fully cognisant of what was decided. Of course, the two ministers who are responsible for the for that corporation, they in fact have written off. It is not the final story anyway. That letter has put a proposition. There will be some negotiation, but the essence of it is that that money is to be spent on emerging technology, not on mature technologies.
So it's correct then to say, is it, Minister, that the Clean Energy Finance Corporation won't be making fresh investments in wind power?
Well, it won't be making. That's right. If it's seeking to support the mature technology that exists with wind power, it won't be making those sorts of investments. And you might recall, even before the last election, when we were in opposition, one of our strong complaints about the Finance Corporation were investments, some of the early investments which supported a major wind farm in the south of Victoria and in the Western District. And our complaint was that that project we knew could be financed commercially because the technology was known, it was mature, and in fact, if you look at the mandate that Labor gave that corporation, it was for, again, emerging technologies in the solar space and other space, and not for mature technologies.
Now, the point I want to clarify, though, is this a new policy decision taken by Joe Hockey and Matthias Cormann? Is it some new decision, or is it nothing more? Is it nothing more than an implementation of previous agreements reached in relation to the RET?
It is nothing more than previous arrangements settled with the crossbenchers in relation to the RET.
Now, you're telling us, are you, that the Environment Minister, Greg Hunt, is completely satisfied and completely informed of this? Is that the situation or not?
That is the situation. He was perhaps the principal party, along with Ian McFarlane, who put this arrangement together with the crossbenchers, and he is fully cognisant of it, drove this deal, settled this deal, understood this arrangement, and now the two responsible ministers are putting it into effect.